Not again. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm gonna do another album review. I know, it's crazy. Today I'm gonna do an album review on the new Rich Brian album, The Sailor. So Rich Brian is an Indonesian rapper slash singer, a dude from the 88 Rising record label alongside with Joji, aka Pink Guy. And he had been dropping a lot of music lately. In the year 2016, he dropped Dat Stick, which is actually a pretty catchy banger, as Rich Chiga. I feel bad for saying this, but again, it's not a slang term or anything. It's literally his name. And then, of course, for, being more appropriate, he changed his name to Rich Brian because that's his name, Brian. And so he dropped the album Amen or Amen last year. And it's just okay. It's okay at best. There are some decent bangers here and there are some decent tracks, and then there are some underwhelming tracks, and that's basically it. And then this year, he dropped The Sailor, which is more underwhelming, actually. Again, there are decent tracks here and there are some legitimately good bangers, and I can tell that Rich Brian is more ambitious than ever on this album, but still, there are tracks here that just sound kinda underwhelming. We have the title track, which is actually pretty fantastic, especially for the first half. At first, we get this psych pop sample playing in the distance, and then suddenly a small section, a split second of that sample is cut and made into this very sick, quirky beat, which turned into a total banger. I absolutely love it. And then we have the second half, which is a little bit more head scratching, but I still think it's okay. It's basically this spoken word passage about how he went outside and forgot to brush his teeth, and how he got some bubble gum and some passion fruit iced tea, which totally means nothing. But at least instrumentally, it's not that bad either. We get some psychedelic guitars, which are really watery and smooth underneath, and it sounds kind of beautiful and sweet, actually. Even though, again, the spoken word passage literally means nothing. And then we have the second track, Rapapapa, featuring RZA of Wu-Tang Clan fame. And the track is just okay. We get this very tedious beat. The hook is just okay. It's not that great. And RZA, he shows up at the very last minute, and he kinda half raps, half spoken words on this very empty, hollow instrumental. And, well, it's definitely better than that Miley Cyrus track, but still, it's a little underwhelming. And then for the third track, we have Yellow, featuring Beacon or Beckon, and it's actually pretty great. It's pretty multifaceted and ambitious, and surprisingly, Rich Brian sings, and not even auto-tuned singing or crooning on the track, like legitimately, expressively singing, which is pretty surprisingly good. And also instrumentally, for the first half, it's pretty grand. We get these beautiful strings and these psychedelic guitars, and overall, it's pretty dreamy and pretty sweet. And then we hit the second half, which gets more cinematic and orchestral, and it's also a little bit more laid back, but it sort of has an instrumental swell at the very end of the track. And overall, it's a pretty sweet track. It's pretty swell. That's what I'm trying to say. And then we have the track Kids, which is way more straightforward than any other tracks on the album. It's essentially a grand piano horns rap track with these beautiful soaring strings, and it's pretty amazing instrumentally. I really love the extravagant pianos and these farewell horns. Honestly, it would be great if Kids is the last track of the album. It would be a great album ending. But still, instrumentally, it's very nice, very grandiose, and I also like the lyrics where Rich Brian sort of talks about his own work ethic, and it also has this really faint East Coast vibe, which I really love, and yeah, Kids is also a pretty great track. And then the album starts going downhill from there. We have the track Drive Safe, which is also pretty good in my opinion, even though the lyrics are a little cliche, but still it's a really beautiful psych pop track with a very cutesy sticky hook and some dreamy pillowy cinematic production, which I kinda enjoy. We have the track Confetti, which has a confusing hook, Blow Me Like Confetti. It's better than Blow Me Like a Cello, but it still doesn't make much sense. Like, I know for some confetti you can blow it, but usually you throw it. You don't blow it. Um, I like how rappers keep trying to look for, look for things to blow, you know? Anyway, the beat, it's pretty basic. The instrumentals, they're a little tedious. However, I kind of like the descending instrumental, sort of. But yeah, that's basically it. The entire track just feels kind of underwhelming overall. And then we have the track Vacant, which is also pretty underwhelming, even though structurally it's very interesting. We get these haunting vocal melodies, these moody instrumentals, these rap sung verses which are very Drake-ish, while the chorus is extremely curious, quirky, and kinda poppy and sentimental. But when the whole thing comes together, while it does come together pretty well and pretty coherently, overall, structurally and musically, it still sounds kinda underwhelming. We have the track No Worries, which is this nostalgic psychedelic pop rap track, and the rapping here is just very loose, very laid back, very chill. The instrumental, it's kind of one note, and overall it's another pretty underwhelming track that's just decent at best. Also, a trap beat is introduced into the track like on the last 1/3 of the track, and it's kind of head scratching. Again, why didn't the beat appear earlier? Why? I don't know. And then we have the track 100 Degrees, which is also kinda underwhelming in my opinion. We get these cheap acoustic piano chords and this corny singing / rapping at the same time, and we get these very cheesy hook and verses, and it's like a regular Macklemore song. It's really basic. We also have the song Slow Down Turbo, which is one of the most interesting songs on the album because in 4 minutes, there are 5 phases in this track. It's multifaceted, yet it lacks focus. At first, we get this laid-back pop rap singing, which is pretty nice and smooth, and then suddenly it slows down and it becomes this moody Travis Scott-esque rap passage. And then after that, we get some soul choir vocals, which remind me a little bit of the choir vocals in Kendrick Lamar's Damn. And then again, it slows down and it becomes this sparkly, fast trap beat where Rich Brian starts to rap in a very cold-blooded fashion and his rapping gets faster and faster and faster, which is actually a pretty amazing idea, pretty creative. But then again, the song lacks focus, so there isn't anything that builds up to this part of the song and reinforces this part of the song. And then after a while, his voice fades away again, and then a trap beat is introduced to the instrumental. The beat becomes stable, it doesn't speed up anymore, and then we have Rich Brian hopping back onto the track and rapping in a very normal trap flow. So overall, it's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess. There are some smart and creative ideas here and there, but overall, it's kind of a mess. And then after that, we have the track Curious, which is essentially this small, cutesy, acoustic pop rap track. And it's just okay. Lyrically, Rich Brian kind of goes down the memory lane talking about the mistakes he had done as a kid and, mistakes he had done before. But instrumentally speaking, it's kind of underwhelming as well. And then we have the album ending, Where Does the Time Go featuring Joji. And it's actually a pretty beautiful and grand ending to the album. It's essentially another psych pop track with pillowy production and these beautiful strings and Beatles-esque vocals. And then we have Rich Brian's very cold-blooded flow, which contrasts with the very rich instrumentals really well. And overall, it's a very grand and satisfying ending. Overall, I think Rich Brian is a little more ambitious on this album, but still there are tracks here and there that just feel underwhelming and instrumentally lacking of a structure or lacking of anything strong or memorable or catchy. And while there are tracks here and there which I actually love, still, the album overall is just decent at best. My favorite track here is the title track, and my least favorite, well, actually the first half of the title track, and my least favorite is 100 Degrees. I am giving Rich Brian's The Sailor a 6 out of 10. So, have you listened to Rich Brian's The Sailor? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, hate if you hate it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Also, I will be reviewing the new Brockhampton and the new King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard very soon.